Bonjour à tous. So I will talk in this in this talk I will deal with the experience I get while teaching functional programming to musicology students. It's been 4 or 5 or 6 years now that Laurent Potier asked me to give this course on Lisp, mainly Lisp, how to program in Lisp and algorithms in Lisp. And at that occasion, I adapted what we did in the Faculty of Science, because I'm not in humanities in Faculty of Humanities. I'm in Science faculty. Okay, so the summary of the talk will be in five parts. First part will be devoted to background and motivations of what I did. Second part will be devoted to the language I developed and implemented to teach functional programming, which I named piano language, and we will say why later. Interlude with the presentation of piano language, I'll present a tentative curricula. Because there will be several stages of presentation of the piano language, and in fact two stages. And with each stage, I'll give a review of some of the exercises I gave to the students, and what were the pedagogical objectives of the curricula. The first part will be devoted to the feedbacks from the RIM students. I got only feedbacks from last year and this year's students of the RIM. RIM is a master in comment on dit en anglais?
Computer music producer.
Well, master in computer music producing. Some of them are here of this year and last year's. So they the students of this year gave me feedback, and I summarized it in the talk. And the last part will be devoted to technicalities. That is how to use piano language and what's going on behind the scene. Okay. So background. Well, first of all, the talk will be from a computer science perspective, because I am a computer science. So there will be no music, no videos, no things like that. It may be hard for non-computer scientists to follow my talk, but I'll try to be as clear as possible. From a computer science perspective, also because I don't play no instrument. The experiment I did with the students of the RIM Master is a result of more than 10 years feedback on teaching functional programming to science students in the Faculty of Science. And I adapted what we did in science in computer science. I adapted it to musicology. And finally, adaptation to musicology students, because Lisp is the final goal. Because I was told that at my great surprise that somebody on Earth utilized Lisp. Yet.
How many people use Lisp?
No, I love Lisp. That's not what I'm saying. But that was a long time since I didn't see a real program in Lisp. Okay. So the motivations, a statement. We made a statement in science, and I confirmed it here in the RIM Master. The statement is that functional programming is hard. Well, it's hard not only for beginners in programming, because every language, every paradigm of programmation is hard for real beginners, but it is also hard for seasoned programmers used to imperative paradigm. It's very hard for somebody used to say C or Ada or Pascal to learn how to program in Lisp in the Lisp style, in the functional programming style. Possible explanations for that are, real functional programs, not the 3 or 4 functions that I will show you later. Real functional programs may be rather obfuscating for several reasons. First reason is that it's hard to translate imperative algorithms into a functional setting. That's the first reason. The second reason is that often functional languages are they use heavy syntaxes tweaks. For instance, you have, of course, parentheses in Lisp. You have the double semicolon in Camel, and so on. You all know the familiar joke. Unfortunately, a Russian spy stole the last meg of a Lisp program for controlling our nuclear defense systems. Fortunately, it was all right parentheses. This is to point the obfuscatism of Lisp. Well, this is a first explanation. A second is that pure functional languages lack well-known control structures. That is, control structures known and used by programmers in C or imperative languages. And I want to say particularly iterations. In pure functional languages, you don't have iteration. So you must deal with recursion. We talked about recursion in a precedent talk. We must deal with recursion. And to program in a pure functional spirit, it is better to program with recursion than using the iteration tools provided by, for instance, Lisp. We all know prog-n, prog1, prog2, etc. Okay, so what is needed? What we need is a simple language, to avoid the problem, the parentheses, with minimal syntactic sugar. We want something which is as closest as possible to the language of the users, of the students. Of course, we want also something which is Turing equivalent. That is, first of all, to be able to implement any algorithm. That's for one thing. For the other thing, it's not to be assaulted by students who told us that your language is a toy language which you can't use in real situations, whatever real means. So it's Turing equivalent. Third, in view of the goals of the goal, in view of the main goal of the language, which is Lisp, we want to be able to play with lists and possibly with trees. Okay, and finally, because it's aimed to learners, we want to have some useful features to be used by learners to ease their learning. Okay, so let's introduce now the piano machine in its basic model. Well, what is a piano machine? It's a machine that evaluates arithmetic expressions, only arithmetic expressions. And, of course, one can define new functions. What are the expressions known by the piano machine? Well, the expressions, there are 4 kinds of expression. The first expression is 0. The piano machine knows 0. And when you give 0 to the piano machine, the result is 0, of course. Okay. So it knows 0. It knows also ++exp. How does the piano machine evaluate ++exp? Well, it first evaluates exp, getting an integer, and then it adds 1 to that evaluation. let's see it on example. Plus plus 0 is it. Well, cool. Yes. Okay, so we are at the middle of the expressions known by the piano machine. The third expression is the well-known if then else. So if E1 equals E2, then E3 else E4. Well, to evaluate this expression, the piano machine evaluates E1, evaluates E2, and if the two evaluations are equal, the result of the if then else is the result of the evaluation of E3, else the result of the if then else is the result of the evaluation of E4. Well, this is the third kind of expression. And the last kind of expression is a function call. Remember, one can define new functions. So, of course, if you can define new function, you must be able to call them. Okay, that's the only thing you have to know to use the basic model of the piano machine. Well, where the name piano comes from, well, it's because Giuseppe Peano, which was an Italian mathematician of the 19th, 20th century, and he defined formally the integers using only 0, the successor function, which is the function, the plus 1 function, and recurrence. And the basic model of the piano machine is exactly that. We have 0, we have 0, we have the successor function, and the third and fourth kind of expression allows us to define recurrence. So allows us to define functions by recursion. Okay, so what do I do with the students when I present the basic piano machine? Well, all we can do at first is arithmetic. So a first interesting exercise is to program -1 when you have only 0 and +1. This is, well, a little bit tricky, but it's interesting to see that having +1 and 0, you can have -1. Okay, so I have -1. The next step is to program addition and subtraction, because I haven't got it in the basic piano machine. There is something interesting, for instance, with addition, because we can program addition using the original proposition by Giuseppe Peano, or which is purely recursive, or we can use accumulators and get what I call the iterative recursive programming, which is a direct translation of loops into recursive algorithms. With addition and subtraction, we can have comparisons between two integers and multiplication of two integers. From what we get, the quotient and the remainder of two integers. So this is in several stages. And what are the programming skills gained by the students? Well, first, they get used with recurrence and moreover recursion and more generally induction as a sole control structure. They learn how to purely recursive program functions. How to program purely recursive function, and as I said about addition, iterative recursive programming using accumulators. So we can. Well, it's always possible to translate a purely recursive program into an iterative recursive one, and the converse also. Okay. Now, second stage, when this is done and they get used with recurrence, I introduce the Deluxe model. What is the Deluxe model? Is the basic piano machine plus, well, all the arithmetic operators defined so far, because of course it would be rather inconvenient to define plus, minus, multiplication, etc. So we have all the arithmetic operators defined so far. Let's see. 3 fois 9 moins 5. That would be 22. Yes, it is. Okay, and because we want to arrive at Lisp programming, well, the lists are also, as in Lisp, first class citizen of Peano machine with the list data type, which is a cons, which build the list. Car, which gets the first element of a list. CDR, which gives the list minus its first element, and null, which is the empty list. Well, with once we have these functions, call, cons, score, CDR, and null, we can use list. For instance, we can get the length of a list. We can append to list, which is pretty interesting. Well, the catenation of two lists is pretty interesting because it's exactly the same algorithm than adding two integers. Well, in a very precise way. Reverse a list in three flavors. So I'll show you after the three flavors of reversing a list. The naive reverse, the reverse, the standard reverse, and an obfuscating reverse, which must not be used. And well, from then on, we can play with list. We can shuffle two sorted lists, interleaved list. We can play with lists of lists, etc., etc. And what are the programming? And now it is not only programming, but also computer science skills gained by students. Well, the first thing is that there is more than one way to do something, which is apparent when reversing a list. Yeah. The students naturally discover different way to reverse a list. So there is more than one way to do something. So I have two algorithms to solve a problem. Which one is the best? Which one must be chosen? Well, that's a complexity issue stemming from algorithms, if we have two algorithms, or programming question. Programming because when we have an algorithm, and when we have an algorithm, there is several ways to implement it. So which is the best? And that raise some interesting complexity issues, even at an elementary level. And last but not least, elegance is not optional. That is often elegant programs are also efficient one. This is an excerpt from a book by Richard O'Keefe entitled "The Craft of Prolog," which is the book. The Craft of Prolog is for seasoned programmers in Prolog and to tell them how to program really good in Prolog. So elegance is not optional. The feedbacks from the RIM students. So I only have students from last year and this year because I was told of this conference only in June or July. So I have only the feedbacks for last and this year. 3 students of last year class out of 8 answered me, and 9 of the this year's class out of 10. So 9 out of 10, I think it's pretty statistically significant. Well, I got only positive feedbacks, which I synthesize later. First feedback: syntax and semantics are simple and clear. That means the students didn't have any problem to integrate, to incorporate the syntax and the semantics of Peano. Second, it's way easier to program with than with Lisp. Well, that's due to the syntactical simplicity of Peano machine. Very interesting. I had some remark about Peano machine being a good introduction to Lisp. okay, that was the objective, the main objective. But also, it was quite a surprise to me this year. This year, student told me that piano machine helped them to understand the concepts behind open music. Well, of course, open music is written in Lisp, so it's not a surprise. But also FOST, which is it's a functional language, but in my view, rather far from Lisp. And lastly, the tools provided by the interpreter are very useful. Unfortunately, this year's student couldn't use the piano machine because of technical requirements that were not met in the lab classes where we were. So, technicalities, how to use the piano machine. So, first of all, edit a source file, compile it, getting an interpreter, and then we can launch the interpreter. So, I'll give you a demo. Okay, compile. That's I get the. I compile a file. The file is demo US piano. Okay, but the interpreter is done, so I can launch it. Piano. Okay. I can do several things in piano. First of all, I can have the listing of the user-defined functions with their arity. So, for instance, Ref3 is the third flavor of reverse, and it is an array function. Okay, so let's reverse the function with Rev1. Rev1, I rev the list 1, 2, 3. Just a word to I use the Lisp. Not Lisp. The Prolog syntax for list. And listing is also listing. Listing is also a Prolog command. Just because I'm a Prolog, basically I'm a Prolog programmer. So Rev1, okay, it reverses the list 1, 2, 3, giving 2, 3, 4. Rev2 reverses the list also, and Rev3 also. So the three flavors of reverse the list. So yet we see 10 microseconds, 5 microseconds, 7 microseconds. That's not particularly significant because it's under the time slice of the processor. So the time when it's under 10 microseconds, it's not significant. More significant is the possibility. Well, I'll talk about it later. Technicalities, features of the interpreter. Well, it's fundamentally, basically a read eval print loop. So I read an expression, I evaluate it, and I print the result. So that's what we saw. We have an history of command, which is launched by the electric Char Bang. We have line editing facilities à la Emacs because I'm an Emacs user, so I implemented line editing facilities à la Emacs. And we have special commands. The first is listing. I showed you later. I showed you that before. Trace. Trace is to have a trace of the function calls and no trace to switch off. This trace and no trace are also keywords of Prolog. So, okay, let's go in trace mode. So I put the trace mode on and I can trace. This will be better seen like that. I can trace the calls. Well, for instance, Ref2 1, 2, 3. The piano machine evaluates the function call, evaluates the expression, and also prints the inner calls correctly indented. following their levels. So here Rev2, we have also Rev1. So here we can see that Rev1 is, well, it's a little bit, we have some more function calls to evaluate Rev1, and if we want to, we have Rev3, which is, where is the mouse? Well, which is Rev3, which is an error. Okay. So this is the trace mode. We have also the calc mode. The calc mode is to show how many internal operations were executed while evaluating the expression. So this gives us a convenient way to objectively compare two algorithms. So we have two algorithms. Okay, so no trace. Did I put the mode calc on? Calc? Yes. So I will, for instance, reverse a 10-element list. Well, this takes 231 operations. Okay, this is with Rev1. With Rev2, well, Rev2 takes only 41 operations to reverse the same list. And what about Rev3? Up. What about Rev3? Rev3, well, Rev3 needed 23,248 operations to reverse the list. Okay, so that's to have the time complexity, and we can have also the space complexity with the keyword mem. Well, the keyword mem shows us how many memory cells were needed while evaluating an expression. So I got the mem counting number of memory cells mode on, and I can I can also compare the three algorithms along their space complexity, space and time complexity, because I didn't disable the time complexity. So to rev a 10-element list, Rev1 uses 56 cells. Rev2 uses only 10 cells, which is near to optimal, because 10 cells, that is, it makes 10 conces. Well, to make a 10-element list, I don't see how to do less. And Rev3 uses, 303,062 cells to reverse a 10-element list. Well, from this, we can see that the second algorithm is the best, and it is scientifically proved by the Peano machine. Okay, demo. So I did it. Technicalities. Well, how about the implementation? As you have seen, I first edit a source file and then compile it, getting an interpreter. Well, the first stage is source-to-source compilation from Peano to C. So from the Peano functions, I compile, I produce C code, and then from C, with GCC, I get the interpreter. Well, GCC, because it is far better than me at producing machine code. I can program in C, but I cannot program in machine code. Okay. The Peano machine has got usual list and binary tree functions. So we saw we saw list functions. We have also, well, the empty tree. We have, well, a tree is fundamentally a root with two subtrees. Okay, this is a tree with a root as with 4 as root and a null as subtrees. Okay, usual list and binary tree functions. We got atoms à la Lisp, as in Lisp. We got atoms. For instance, A is an atom. Okay, and as in Lisp, it is denoted by the quote. We have also, I also implemented a graceful handling of non-terminating function calls. For instance, well, if you look at this function, loop, this function, loop of n is if n equals 0, then 1, else n multiplied by loop of n plus 1. And of course, this doesn't terminate. So loop is in the function define. It's here. So what if I call loop of 5, for instance? Well, it goes in an infinite sequence of calls to loop, but I catch the POSIX signal. Meaning that maximal recursion depth is reached. So how is it done? I don't want to talk about this. Demo. This is what I did. Technicalities. What remains to be done? Well, auto-completion of function names. It is rather pénible. I don't know the English word. What? It's rather pénible to have to type all the letters of a function. I'm also working on infinite precision arithmetic to be able to handle well, integers of arbitrary with arbitrary number of figures. A more pleasant interface because, as you see, it's computer science of the well, not the 90s, the 80s, or even the 70s. But life is short, and okay, and well, anything that could help the learners to efficiently learn functional programming. It's not. I don't want to have a real programming language. It's only a toy language to learn how to use recursion in programming, and as an introduction to functional languages like Lisp, but also Scheme and Camel. In fact, in the Faculty of Science, it was used prior to the learning of Camel. Okay, thank you. And if you have any questions.
So apparently you made the choice not to speak about the different evaluation strategy, and you don't have lazy evaluation.
No.
Can you explain what the
because as I said, the objective of Peano function, of Peano machine, is to learn functional programming. And well, lazy evaluation is something too advanced, in my view, for beginners in programming. It may be interesting to okay, what is lazy evaluation? What is memoing? After all, memoing is also something interesting interesting because with memoing you don't have to evaluate several times the same expression. Okay, so there are. I had to make choices, and the choices was to have something very simple, and also for me to implement. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes we hear that it is easier for beginners to learn functional programming than for people used to imperative programming. And I think it's really interesting in music and relevant because we are used to imperative thinking in programming. We are putting things next to another and the signals go there and then there and then there. And would you agree that with all the people you've met, maybe beginners, where maybe it was easier for them to
yes,
understand
because they are not their minds are not polluted with iterative thinking. Yes,
right.
Yes, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it would be definitely hard for musicians to get into functional maybe.
Right. Perhaps, I don't know. I'm not a musician. Okay. Thank you.
You have a first class lambda?
What?
First class lambda expression.
No. I didn't want to get involved in a real lambda calculus. I don't. If I understand correctly what you meant.
So there are no higher order functions.
No higher order. No. I stay the 2 feet on the ground. No, well, no, it's not really for programming. So we don't need that in the curricula. We will need well MapCore, MapCon, and so in Lisp when we have to program real functions. That's for the only purpose of a piano machine is to get accustomed to recursion and Lisp.
So it's not really functional programming.
Yes.
It's not really functional programming.
Well, it's you're right.
It's more like mini recursion plus the new operator.
Yes. It's piano.
Yeah, but it's still incomplete, right? So.
Well,
It's still complete. Still Turing complete.
well. It's still Turing complete because it's I can define primitive recursive function plus minimization. So it's Turing complete. Okay. Okay. Thank you.